very pleasant good morning. It is. Oh, Money Info brought to you by Princeton Research with Mike King in Las Vegas and Charles Moskowitz in Boston. And all I can tell you, Charles, is Hurricane Irma's coming up your way. No, actually, not that far. How you doing, guys?
Not bad.
Not bad.
All time.
Oh, nice. Yeah, well, the market is just skyrocketing. Of course, needless to say, for the, what was it, 4 days that we were stuck here in a hurricane, we didn't pay much attention to the market, but I just looked at it, and holy smokes, the numbers are amazing.
Yeah, we reached 249.87.5.
Yeah.
The S&P 500.
Yeah. And, is Tim on yet?
No.
Okay. Tim will like the fact
He's had
that
off relocation in Houston.
Yeah, I'll bet he has. Oh man. Of course, yeah. Tim was at the epicenter of the last hurricane in Houston. So
here he is.
Maybe this is Tim. Hey, Tim.
It is Tim.
Are you floating in your inflatable raft up to Dallas? Is that what? I hate to make light of it because, I mean, it was a horrible situation that you went through.
Well, fortunately, in my home, I did not get any kind of flooding.
Good.
That.
Yeah, that's great.
However, I am literally looking at Buffalo Bio, which is still almost to the garage of my office building. Bootlegging time in the building illegally. Our building has been closed because of flooding, but I wanted to have the conference call for little work. Our building is literally going to take 60 days. It flooded the first floor and halfway up to the second floor.
Oh, I'm sure.
And Buffalo is the tributary where everyone has talked about how these two dams were getting ready to fail, and they had to start draining it, and it flooded several thousand homes, and it flooded our building. It surrounded it, literally.
Yeah.
Couldn't get into it for 4 days. It had about anywhere, I would say, 4 to 6 feet of water.
Oh, my
most
God.
most people have no clue of the reality of what this actually is. I mean, when you see cars that you can only see the top of the car,
right,
and it's underwater. I mean, people just don't realize that's not in some enclosed area. I mean, that's what it was everywhere.
And
they already have. There's a race car, a race that is just outside of town here that they didn't have anywhere else to start putting these cars for the insurance adjusters.
Oh boy!
They now have 30,000 cars at the raceway and the surrounding open land, and it's not even close. Their estimate, we lost 500,000 cars.
Timmy, why do you even need an adjuster? Come on, cars flooded out.
Well, Allstate is taking that position. I met with a friend of mine this morning at Starbucks. She had a 3-month-old car that all she got was just enough to get her carpets wet, and Allstate, as a company, has made the decision total every car receives any amount, largely due to the after they are the claims are paid.
Sure.
They said, we do not want to see lawsuits later. We are totaling these cars, and we are going to have them destroyed.
Well, that's the extra step that they didn't take the last time.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I'll be honest with you guys. I am totally blown away with the response of Texas governor, and here, my God, Governor Scott, what a proactive approach. I mean, on the first day of the hurricane, when obviously it had to be super dangerous to fly, we had 1,100 Marines coming in here. And it's like, you've got to be kidding. These guys, the people don't talk about them enough, but these guys are involved in all the rescue stuff. And of course, your way, Tim, I love the Cajun Navy.
Isn't that great? Those guys were terrific. And then we had, there's a large regional utility district that I'm the chairman of here in town, and we had 600 of the National Guard and 600 DPS officers bivouacked there because we had a lot of area and some warehouse areas for them to be in. And these are incredible people. I mean, they come in here, and they are literally dressed as if they're going into battle without weapons. And they carry all their stuff. Know they're going to be sleeping on, could be the ground. In this case, we found them cots in covered areas, and all the neighborhood brought them in food and barbecued things for them. But these are incredibly talented, dedicated people. And then what happened, guys, is they got in a big fat convoy, not the DPS people, but the National Guard, and took a convoy to Florida.
Yeah.
They left. They left literally on the feeder lanes of the freeway that's 2 blocks from my house, one long convoy, and there they were headed east on I-10 to Florida.
Wow. And, you know, what amazed me is, of course, after we went through your horrific experience over there, is all of a sudden you start hearing Governor Scott here, and we were very fortunate. We only lost power here at the radio station for maybe 5 hours in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you guys really lucked out.
The height of the storm. We had in St. Lucie County the highest sustained winds in the storm, if you can believe that, and we were 250 miles from the eye at 96 miles an hour. This building was rocking, and then, which made it even worse here, which we almost had a situation like Timmy had in Houston. There was the meteorologist talking about a training effect, where
the pictures of that were unbelievable.
Yeah, where the rains would come in here, and we had 23 inches of rain in 2 days. So we had 14 inches the first day. And, you know, and this building is on 4 acres. We have a 4-acre lake here now. And it's believe me, it's gone. We were so dry, it had gone down a lot this morning. But, boy, I'll tell you, it was scary. And I can't even imagine, you know, just what we went through. Of course, I've got a lot of dear friends at CBS, both radio and television. And those guys, we had a couple of them in harm's way in Fort Myers and over in Tampa. And then another fellow that we knew from San Diego television, he called and said, well, yeah, we're leaving Miami and we're passing by your place. We're going to Jacksonville. I'm sitting there going, Jacksonville? Why? Well, now we see Jacksonville's underwater. The St. Johns River is overflowing for the first time. You've got Atlanta, Georgia underwater. They hadn't been hit with a hurricane in over 100 years. I mean,
they hadn't ever had a tropical storm warning there, ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's mind-boggling. And what happened with our storm is that the moment it hit Tampa Bay, it doubled in size. So it went from 200 miles wide to 400 miles wide. So that's why everybody from South Carolina to Tennessee are getting the storm. Boy, I'll tell you. And of course, Tim is licking his chops because gas has gone up. And
yeah, but that's temporary. Gas
I know.
Starting. It's starting to turn down here.
Not as temporary as it was on the way up.
Yeah, it was a quick 30 to 40 cent increase.
Oh yeah, it was.
But now, you know, you'll start to see it turn down. It's still tough in Florida. I just spoke to a friend just before the show who fled to North Carolina, and he said he's been checking with Gas Buddy, and there's virtually no gasoline available as soon as you hit the Florida line.
Yeah.
And so he's going to wait a couple of days before he heads home because he doesn't think he can get enough fuel to get to Vero Beach.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Oh, yeah. And that's a major problem. You know, we had some of our staffers leave and go to Georgia, and they're trapped. They can't get out of Georgia because there is no gas. Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting that Tesla, with the flip of a switch, literally a new download for the software. that runs the car added 40 or 50 miles to every tank full or every recharge.
Wait a minute. Wait, time out here. What?
Yeah. Tesla did a, did a software update that added 40 to 50 miles per charge.
Now, what they did, though, is they have a delimiter on the charging before then so that people wouldn't take it all the way down to the bottom, and the software actually lifted the delimiter so that the danger, of course, is like all of us. I don't know about you, but I go down sometimes to where the light's on and play a little sport. How long can I run around with the light on before I fill my tank again? All those people, when they're out, they are really dead out now.
Oh, yeah.
If they have no reserve. That was essentially the reserve that they weren't telling people about. It was interesting to hear that. It's just an intelligent way to design it all. But well done. We're very smart.
Well,
Now,
that's the other question, guys. You've got almost 400,000 people, I guess, in the two counties here that are still without power. What happens if you have a Tesla? There's power stations all up and down the Treasure Coast. But if there's no power to the power station, I hope you enjoy your stay, huh?
Yeah, right.
That's kind of the way it works.
Yeah, so we want to welcome all of our new listeners who are sitting in your Tesla right now in St. Lucie West.
Well, we also have an old friend that I heard from text this morning. Scott Eisler texted me, Mike.
Yes.
And, Scott lives outside of Boca. And he came back and thought that he was in great shape and his house had survived and didn't have significant damage. Went out for dinner and drinks and a little celebrating and came back, and apparently his roof had caved in while he was gone. And that suddenly he went from having no damage to heavy damage inside of his home.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, that weight and that intensity of all that rain. Obviously, it's other people are probably going to experience that. I'm sure he's not the only one that is in Florida.
I have my childhood best friend is down in Naples, and he was up here for half of the summer. He had a 52-foot Sabre built and picked it up in Maine and, took it back down there. And I said to him, so when I said, mention something about hurricanes, and he said, we don't really get them. They usually either peter out or go up the East Coast or go further south into the Gulf before going towards, the Houston area. And I said, so I talked to him and I said, so what'd you do about the boat? And he said, I went down to it and said goodbye.
Yeah.
It's now.
And it turns out he had next to no damage on it.
Wow. I was going to say
his house is worse than his boat.
So it didn't turn into a 15-foot dinghy then, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
it's kind of ironic. It's ironic that Cuba saved Florida.
Yes.
Yeah,
oh no,
really.
there's no doubt about it. And what happened is if you guys are watching television, I don't even know what the hell day it was, Wednesday or Thursday, when a lot of East Florida started evacuating, and it was bumper to bumper traffic all the way to the state line. So anyway, the West Coast people were laughing at us, saying, "Man, what an overreaction." Well, then all of a sudden, when that thing jogged over left to hit the west coast of Florida, they did not have the time to react that we did, because it was targeted to come here.
I haven't seen any pictures, but I'm assuming that both Sanibel and what's the other one? Marco.
Marco was where it hit.
Probably ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen Marco. It's very tough. It looks just like Key West. Sanibel, I have heard nothing about Sanibel. But again, you got Tampa Bay that hadn't. I didn't realize they hadn't been hit with a hurricane since 1917 or something like that. So, yeah, it was amazing. What we were all worried about, Charles, and I know you guys all have friends down in Boca and West Boca, and we have some in Kendall, and of course I do basketball, and the Miami-Dade campus is in Kendall. The Miami Dolphins training camp is in Davie. That's all west, and we have 3 huge gaps in the in Lake Okeechobee that the Corps of Engineers swears don't worry about a thing. Not that I don't trust the Corps of Engineers, but after Lake Pontchartrain overflowing during Katrina, I figured, okay, we've got a real problem here. But so far, it's holding. So, wow, it's been crazy. Well, Tim, how long are you going to be in your temporary quarters, or do you even have any knowledge of how long it's going to take?
Well, that's just it. I'm actually going to the building that I'm looking at after the show, and I'm going to have to make a decision whether I'm going to move completely, because we had very high levels. This water that was here was, the New York Times reported on it, 4 times the level of E. coli in sewage.
Oh, right? God.
And I'm just not sure, as much as I love this building, that I want to continue to be in this building that got 6 or 8 feet of water in it for 4 days with those levels of E. coli. Not just E. coli, there was arsenic, lead, heavy metals, and it's a real question. Mike knows I've been here on the campus of the Houstonian for 18 years, so it's a big decision for me. But we'll see. We'll see.
Wow.
There will be. Houston's recovering quickly, though. For instance, there's a data point just came out. We had about 1,250 water systems and sewage treatment systems out as a result of the hurricane. We are down to only 35 systems. Literally 1,200 of the 1,235 or 1,250 are already fixed. I mean, Texas, we get to it.
Yeah, you do.
We help our neighbors, and we get back in business, and we're rebuilding, and we're making things happen.
I think that, the looking back, and again, everybody goes to Katrina as the reference to everything that went wrong. But, I mean, you guys were just on the spot, helping each other. And it was an amazing thing to watch from afar, thinking, well, we'll never have to go through it. Guess what? That's where we are right now. Texans are a strange breed. I mean, you really are. You're tougher than most. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I love living in Texas. I've always enjoyed doing business in New York, but I love living in Texas. That's just the way it is. It's a very entrepreneurial environment. And, obviously we've talked many, many times about the oil business on this show. I think the oil business is having a bit of a pause. We actually saw rig counts down again this week.
Yeah,
and I think that we're going to see, with this sub-$50 oil, you're not going to see everybody poking new holes in the Permian Basin for a while, and some settling down. There may be a floor developing at 48 because of it. But
I was surprised that when they put out that rig count, that the rig count for natural gas were actually up.
Yep. Well, the lifting cost on natural gas, if you've got a good gas well, it's a lot lower as a function of market price than oil at 48. So there's actually better margins. But, and there's certainly a lot of natural gas market out there today with the NGL plants opening, and Cheniere shipping, and one of my clients is building 12 trains for GE Baker Hughes right now for more NGL. There's a big market out there for us to serve.
Now, what about, I think the big concern was that we were hearing on the network news shows is that the refineries may be shut down until Thanksgiving.
No, we had a total of 16 refineries down. 9 of those are back right now. ExxonMobil, which has the second largest refinery in the state of Texas, second only to Motiva, is completely up and ready, but the transportation system hasn't caught up yet. They've still got to get tankers back in place. They've got to get, it looks like full traffic is now going on the Houston Ship Channel again. But we expect to see, my understanding is there's only 4 of them that will still be offline within the next week.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's amazing. Well, and
coming on.
And what was it that we were watching where your Exxon people, was it a pump station or something, helped rebuild this pump for this small town, and it was all like Exxon employees.
Yep. Exxon actually put, I think it was 26 Exxon-owned helicopters and put them to work going on rescue missions. They were even using helicopters to swoop down and get cattle to move to high ground. They were actually rustling cattle with helicopters.
Oh, that would have been a great picture. Holy smokes.
And there are some pictures of it. You could Google it, look on YouTube or something and say helicopter cattle rustling.
I
see
will.
What happens. Because these cattle these days at these prices, you're talking $1,500 a piece, and thousands of head were out there and getting trapped in low-lying areas, and they're too dumb to move up, so they use these helicopters to scare the cattle into moving up into higher ground, and it saved many, many millions of dollars of damages.
Wow. That's incredible. That is really, really incredible. Oh, man. Well, now, Tim, what do you think is seriously going to be happening with oil sticking around 50? I
still think it's stable, just like we talked about. I think it's in a trading range that's going to be stable between, hopefully not below 45 and maybe 50, 51 max, and it's just stable. We're going to have to see some improvements in worldwide demand and some of this decline rate that we know is happening out there before we see any substantial increases.
Were you surprised at the federal response to everything in Texas? I know we really have been almost shocked that, because again, referring back to 2004 with us, with Francis Jean, and 2005 with Wilma, it wasn't exactly there with FEMA, but it certainly is now.
I think they did an outstanding job. They stepped up. They got support here. They started cutting checks for people for housing, vouchers for housing. They did a really nice job. I couldn't get to my bay house, so I wasn't sure if I had damages or not, but a friend of mine had said, well, you ought to go ahead and register with FEMA before it gets too crowded out there. So I went ahead and made a claim on FEMA that my home had been damaged, and within 2 hours I was approved for vouchers for housing.
Wow. That's amazing.
Now, of course, I'm not using them because I didn't need to. After I got there, I found I didn't have any damage except my dock. But I don't think I've ever seen as effective and as fast a response as FEMA.
This is Robert Kang from Leo Motors.
Welcome, Dr. Robert Kang of Leo Motors from Korea.
Hello.
All right. Well, Robert, hold on
Gentlemen,
just a quick second. Timmy, gosh, be well in Houston. We certainly know what you've been through. That's for sure. Wow.
Okay. Next time we have a chance to talk, we got to talk about Trump and his new independent streak.
Next week.
Uh-oh.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, Timmy.
Thanks for having me on.
Hopefully we can talk to you really soon. It's amazing what you have been through in the last few weeks. And it almost seems like what we've been through is just a fraction of what you guys went through in Houston. So, hey, be well, my friend.
As always, thanks for having me on, guys.
All right. Well, Robert Kang is from an area in the world where nothing is going on. great place to vacation with no pressure, right?
No hurricane in South
Well,
Korea.
actually, it's nothing.
But we have a very bad guy in the northern section of the peninsula.
Are
A young
you?
guy.
Yeah. Are you saying you wouldn't recommend vacationing in North Korea? Is that?
Well, I do not strongly recommend it, but enjoyable.
Enjoyable.
Run the risk of your life.
That's right. Well, boy, with everything that's been going on, you're literally in the center of the storm in South Korea. As a business owner of a major corporation, I mean, how does it affect you and your employees to hear all this stuff?
Well, you know what? Well, I was born several years after the Korean War, and after then, almost 60 years. Always we are in the middle of that kind of threats from his the grandfather, father, now the Kim Jong Un himself. So, well, we do not take that seriously. The others see about North Korean Peninsula. So, it became a part of our life, right? So, well, actually in here, nobody worry about that. Even though, something is not happening in the future, who knows? But, if something is happening, that is the end of the earth, we think.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
it's like this. It's like the 1960s attitude with us and the Soviet Union and everything.
Oh yeah.
Mutual assured destruction. MAD.
Right. So the Korea is a kind of a buffer zone. It is surrounded by China, Russia, and Japan, and also the United States. So all strongest country are surrounded by the Korea is surrounded by all the strongest country in the world. So it became kind of the buffer zone, right? So nobody can take it now. Now, even though the North Korea is resisting strongly with some nuclear weapons, but but it is only threat, right?
Wow.
Well, that is not our attitude.
Yeah.
So we are working very hard, even though something is happening there. So we do not take it is deeply related with our business. That is our the business attitude here. Anyhow, we are going to move our head office to the United States very soon.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Because, our biggest market is in the United States.
Okay. So when do you foresee moving here to the U.S.?
Well, as soon as possible.
Are you saying the first Korean Airlines jet out of Seoul and you're on it?
Well, actually, we are raising capital here to have the office and workshop in the Los Angeles in the harbor, like in the Marina del Rey. So we are looking for the office space there, and also we are looking for the partnership there. So we even hire the American steps and the representative of our business there. We want to start the electric boat business there.
Okay.
Electric yachts, actually, right?
And you were talking about that last time. By the way, I mean,
right, electric yacht.
Yeah, we do have an old condo in the Marina del Rey if you need one. No, I'm just kidding. Carol and I used to live in the Marina del Rey for about 13 years.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, but so you're looking at what, like the L.A. Harbor area for your factory down in San Pedro?
Yes, and maybe factory can be located in somewhat more reasonable renting places.
Sure.
Less than the Marina del Rey. Marina del Rey is very very expensive in terms of renting the factory. But we surely have our office there.
Sure.
To do yacht business. So we are going to sell, market electric propellant system to all the yachts and new yachts.
That's amazing. That's great. Well, now, when will you actually be building these, like in mass consumption, if you will? Is it going to be in 2018 or 19?
Yeah, 2018 is our goal, and already we have many contacts and pre-sales there. Already many in the yachts and the propellant system operators, shops, and visitors, and they had a chance to have a test drive our electric boats here in Korea. And they were so satisfied with our system, and a lot of people think they can make a really premium yachts with the electric propellant system, especially in any sailing yachts, sail yachts. We can make it. We can convert it instantly within a day into no noise, no nasty smell, and the very economic fuel cost because of using the electricity yachts within a day. Conversion is very simple. You just take the engine and the fuel tank away and put on the electric motor and battery system in the places with you take the engine and fuel tank. That's it.
Well, now, we've had Charles and Mike and I have had conversations about California in the past, and of course, I am a Marina del Rey kid, so I was born and raised in that area. but have you also looked at like California tax structure versus maybe Texas or Florida, which has no state
Nevada.
taxes? Or
Nevada. Well,
how do you build a boat in Nevada? Come on. Mike.
But the tax structure is phenomenal.
No, I know. I'm
well, actually, we may also consider the factory in Nevada because the propellant system consists of electric motor, several different sizes. Like we are making from 40 horsepower to 616 horsepower. The electric motor, and also battery system, right? So in the factory we can make the electric propellant system, and we can ship them any places in the United States, like California, Florida, Boston, New York, wherever, right?
Wow, it sounds great. Charles?
Are you only building them from the ground up, or is there a conversion available going from
the
gas or
conversion
diesel?
Right. Our business is to supply electric propellant system, and the conversion can be done any the yachts or boat shops.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, purchasing purchasing yachts is a little bit different from purchasing cars, right? When you purchase yachts, you purchase the hull, like the body of the boat, and the engine separately, right?
Right.
So we do not make the hull vessel.
Right.
What we make is the propellant system, like engine and fuel tank, right? So any the new boat owner can purchase our propellant system and put it like an engine and fuel tank in their the boats, right? So any boat maker can be our partner. And another big market is the owners who want to change the old engine into a new one, right? Like if you have a yacht which age is more than 20 years, in our research there are almost 1.3 million such boats in the United States. They can use our electric propellant system, right? So they take their old engines away and just put our electric propellant system. That's it. And then you will have a really premium, no noise, no smell, and a very economic electric energy. And you also hear your shores clean. If you go to any shores, you can see the oils are floating, very dirty, right? And as you keep as you have our system, you don't need to contaminate your area, right?
Wow, that's it sounds incredible. So basically, Robert, what you're talking about is basically becoming the Tesla of the yachting industry.
Yes, that well, we want to be the most known company in the yacht industry, actually. Right. So we as a joke, we call it the Tesla ship.
Yeah, sure.
Tesla boat.
There you go. Now, do you? I know Charles asked this question a lot of our guests on the show. Do you have any competitors in this field, or are you basically alone here?
Well, there are few in Germany and Netherlands, but the category is very different. They are producing the electric propellant system less than 40 horsepower, which we do not produce. And, actually, electric propellant system is more than 150 years old, right? Years old of history. But the only reason they cannot make another more than 40 horsepower system is they have to use more than 100 voltage when they make the more than 40 horsepower system. And if you use more than 100 voltage system, you must have electric shock prevention system. Also, you need a electric radiation, a magnetic radiation prevention system as well to be safe, right? But a lot of company had a test and had developed electric propellant system more than the 40 horsepower, even the 700 horsepower with the electric system. They tested and they were amazed with it. And that was it, because they could not make it the marketable product because of the electric shock danger, right? So the electric shock prevention system is one of the most important technology in the high power electric boat system, and unfortunately, we are the only one in the world have that technology with a patent,
Yeah.
and we demonstrate like this. In the small pool, you put on the hair dryer. Hair dryer is still working, and then if you put your hand, what happens? You get killed instantly, right?
Sure.
And with our system, you will not. It's amazing technology.
Wow. That is amazing. Could
Oh,
you?
we also not very not amazed, when we first developed it. And even the patent the officers in Korea, they rejected our application at first because it is the adverse and it is just the opposite of Fleming's the left-handed theory, which is in the physics and the textbook in the middle school students, right? So they just laughed and they just ignored our application because it is just an adverse of all basic theory about physics, electric physics. But we demonstrated and we show them how it works in our circuit, and they also amazed with our new invention developments, and we discovered that how to do it. So, maybe there will be any competitor in the world who attempt to make a high-powered electric propellant system, but nobody can make them marketable and sustainable, I think, without our patent technology.
Wow, that's great. Now, have you talked about maybe partnering with some of the big manufacturers, sailboat manufacturers, to have your device as one of their accessories in their sailboats when they build them?
Yes. I have many friends in the United States in the boat industry, and we found many our potential partners there, and who want to purchase our system and put them in their boats. So we initially found several important manufacturers in the United States, and eventually they will be our first clients, and also as the promotion campaign. Like on the website, like on the Indiegogo, we want to put our product there, and we may raise another funds, as the promotion. So like we recruit like a 1,000 sail yacht owners who want to have a electric propulsion system. And we put on the video there and how it works, and also the promotion, price there, and we make the raise of funds there. We are not considering that campaign there. Not because of the money, but because of we want to really, actually, promote our invention of the high power electric propellant system. That is our some of our strategy to have a presence in the United States.
What is going to be, say, the top speed of the yacht utilizing your electrical system?
Recently we developed a 660 horsepower system. We purchased a 20 years old powerboat made by Ferrari. Very expensive one. The new one, like 20 years ago, it was almost $2 million. And now, after 20 years, it's the engine gone, and then it was deserted in the yard in the harbor, and we purchased it like the $20,000, and we put our electric propellant system with a 660 horsepower, and it makes the speed more than 16 like 60
Knots.
knots, right.
Wow.
Very high speed.
Yeah.
The speed in the water is very different from the speed in the road. If you speed like a 60 knots, it is like driving more than 300 kilometers per hour, like almost 170 miles per hour. High speed.
Yeah, our old Grand Banks would only do 10 knots. So,
even 10 knots is not a slow speed.
Yeah.
On the
How
water.
long?
Right.
How long does the power last on that 600
Yeah.
power?
Okay. 616 horsepower have a battery system like on the 85 kilowatt. And you can drive it like in the 2 hours, right, with a full speed. But if you put it in the sail yacht, okay, in the sail yacht, you need the power when you depart harbor,
Right.
and when you just stand still on the water, because if you do not use any power, your boat will, your yacht and the sail yacht will blow away from some different places. So when you're fishing and playing in one spot, you need the power. And when you come back to the harbor, you also need the the machine propelling system. And also, if you use the electricity in the yachts, you need the working engine, right? And to make to generate the electricity to be used in the yachts. But if you have hours, okay, you can use the hour power exactly same with the internal combustion engine use. But the most important part is when you sail, right, within the power of the wind, you can generate electricity from your hull of the boats. We have a reverse screw system which can generate electricity underneath of the boat. It generates like 3 kilowatt per hour. 3 kilowatt is in it is in the electricity you can use in the small house one day, right? So as long as you sail, you don't need to recharge your boat. You don't need to spend any money for the fuel. That is our system. So it is. We say it is a perpetual system. As long as you sail, you don't need to recharge your boat. You can, travel the world, right, without electric propellant system, without any recharge. That is another new invention.
Boy, that's an amazing story. Charles, we're getting a little short on time. Any questions there?
Not really. It's really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Michael?
It's an amazing technology. Do you have a patent on that?
Oh, definitely. But what we need is we need to patent in the United States when we start business here. So we also prepared the U.S. patent for all our technology. So we spend a lot of money on that.
Good.
Right.
Wow.
So our stock is on sale right now. The huge bargain, like the Black Day sale. So if you start business here, our stock will be very different. Stock price is very different. We believe.
What is your stock symbol?
LEOM.
LEOM.
LEOM as in Leo Motors. Yep.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's on the OTC?
Yeah.
OTC QB.
Yes.
Yep.
OTC
OTCQB. Yep. All right.
Right.
That sounds
Okay.
great. Well, hey,
right.
be safe in South Korea. Seriously, when do you plan your move to Los Angeles?
Well, this November or December.
Great. Good stuff. Well, you know, we have been talking to you for, I guess, over a decade, and it seems like your technology is really coming together now, and it sounds great. Sounds great.
Okay.
Hey, well, you have a real good day, and
Thank
stay
you.
safe over there in Seoul.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All
You
right.
have a good day too.
All right.
Okay.
You too. Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Charles, anything looking crazy here? We got about maybe 2 minutes to go.
We're up pretty well. I
Yep.
mean, we're not running away with this market up $40, but McDonald's had some information left by one of the companies. It wasn't an outright downgrade, but it was close.
Ooh.
That stock is down over $5, about
Ooh.
$156 area. And when you convert what it's down, because it's a Dow stock, you know, this market being up $40 is pretty amazing, because McDonald's is probably a $60 decline in the Dow. So the market's got a little bit more strength than it actually appears. And even though this is supposedly, you know, a terrible month, you can't tell it by the way the market's acting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been crazy. You know, and you think, okay, the hurricanes hit, you've got a crazy North Korean, it's all going to affect the market. It just seems to keep going up.
Yeah, pretty much.
But is that artificial?
I don't think it's artificial at all. I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's like people saying, you know, what's the value of the stock? Well, you know, if you own it and there's a bid price, that's the value of the stock. You know, it's actually feeling pretty good. And the sentiment numbers, which are a contrary indicator, are still more on. There's still a lot less bullishness around than there is, you know, vis-a-vis where we're trading. I mean, I think as of last week, there was only 28% of the people were bullish, which is to say that 72% were either neutral or negative.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. Well, Charles Moskowitz in Boston, Mike King in Las Vegas. Money Info brought to you by Princeton Research. Don't forget that research report comes out every Sunday. Don't miss it. Tim Connolly over in Houston, please stay safe. Of course, our friend in Korea, Leo Motors, likewise. This is WPSL, Port St. Lucie, 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 Port St. Lucie.